For the best soul food in the Mid-South, it's Shop and Save. $14.99 South 3rd, 901-946-4303. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And some of the items on their menu consist of catfish, spaghetti, chicken and dressing, turkey wings, meatloaf, fried chicken, cabbage, yams, greens, salmon croquette, and the list goes on. Some of the best soul food you ever taste in the Mid-South, it is Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd. Call them again at 901-946-4303. Been in business since 1991. Shop and Save, 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303 for some of the best soul food you'll ever taste.
I watch y'all coming here for years, because you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Because ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
This pandemic has hit us hard, but Tennesseans don't stay down for long. We're known for our resilience, and we refuse to back down from a challenge. This challenge is no different. You might be out of work, but there's an opportunity waiting for you. We need you to roll up your sleeves and join our workforce. Right now, thousands of jobs are ready to be filled. Find them at jobsfortn.gov. Let's get to work, Tennessee.
It's not about challenging times
or new normals.
It's about staying true to what matters most.
And we're more committed than ever to your health. Your safety has always been our top priority.
Times may have changed,
but they haven't changed who we are.
We're here for you every single day.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or a mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour. It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try. There aren't any cops around. Didn't think there were any cops around. I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I'm going to get off, okay? You are right now? Now.
For the best soul food in the Mid-South, it's Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and some of the items on their menu consist of catfish, spaghetti, chicken and dressing, turkey wings, meatloaf, fried chicken, cabbage, yams, greens, salmon croquette, and the list goes on. Some of the best soul food you ever taste in the Mid-South, it is Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd. Call them again at 901-946-4303. Been in business since 1991. Shop and save. 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303 for some of the best soul food you'll ever taste. And welcome. We are live on a Friday night. Thank you all for tuning in wherever you may be, however you may be checking me out on today. It is a Friday. It is 7:37 in the evening. I appreciate everybody that has joined so far and is continuing to come in on tonight. Friday night live edition of Talk Sports Live. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in again, as I said, watching, listening, wherever you may be, however you may be checking us out on today. It is a Friday evening, and you know I had to come on, man, and talk to y'all. So appreciate everybody that's coming in and joining the show on today. A lot of stuff I want to get into in the time that is allotted. So again, come on in the room, and those of y'all that are doing so, go ahead. And those of y'all that are already there, y'all know what I like to say, man. Hit that like button, hit that share button, all of that good stuff, man, to let us know that you're there, number one. And number two, also, it helps the stream get to more people, man. The more you like it and share, the more reach it gets. So it's just how these social media platforms work, man. But again, we appreciate everybody that's joining in and continuing to do so each and every time we go live here on Talk Back Live Network. So again, I'm your host, Joshua Midgett, man, in the building, the place to be. And I got some stuff I want to talk about. And you guys are more than welcome to join in on the conversations like we always do. You can give us a call, 901-213-6020 is the number. And I make sure I got the phone system ready for y'all here on today, because I got a feeling y'all may have some opinions on some of the topics that I'm going to bring up on today. So this should definitely be a pretty interesting episode. This is an interesting week, man, when it comes to sports, in headlines that have come and gone. Several things, especially locally. If you're a fan of the Grizzlies, you know what happened this week. In the beginning of the week, they had people wondering, okay, is something possible? So I'm going to get into that a little bit and my thoughts on how that all played out and why I'm glad it played out the way it did. I'm also going to talk about a controversy, and I'm going to play a clip from the news that went viral from the Little League World Series. Something I think most of y'all would not expect me to talk about. And I'm not talking about none of the games or any of that stuff, because I don't care, to be perfectly honest. Shout out to all those kids, but I don't care about none of that. What I want to talk about is what was caught on camera during one of the games. And maybe they thought it was an innocent little thing, or was it innocent? So we'll talk about that. And also some Memphis Tigers news as well on the back end that I want to get to. A bit of news that we've talked about the last several times we've been live was confirmed over the last few days. Let's talk about that. And one guy that was transferring that had transferred to Memphis and then transferred away is now transferring back. So this has all happened within the last 7 days. We're going to talk about that as well and what in the world is going on with that situation. So a lot of stuff going on. Again, those of y'all that are there, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're just coming in the room, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for doing so. Now, let's get on into it. So, the week started off pretty interesting, right? Kevin Durant. Y'all know Kevin Durant, man, a guy that is considered one of, if not the best player in the NBA, depends on who you talk to, and their biases on who they like or don't like. But the consensus is amongst most people that watch the league and things of that nature that KD is one of the elite in the game. And in my opinion, he is at least top 5, if not top 3, when it comes to players currently in the NBA. Whether you like him or not, I've never been the biggest fan of KD. And that's a whole nother thing that I'm going to get into some here. But whenever there's a rumor with your team potentially getting this guy, it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. And the week started off on fire on a Monday. You saw the tweet from Shams Charania, who's a top NBA writer, very credible, put out that, hey, the Grizz have put out feelers for Kevin Durant to say, hey, the Grizz put out that they're interested. It's being reported. And that, hey, they didn't want to give up Jaren Jackson or Desmond Bane or any of their core. But the Grizz said they were interested in trying to attempt to make a deal constructed by their 5 first-round draft picks that they have, future picks. These are not guys that they've drafted already. These will be future picks. And, of course, there would have to be more put in there. Now, when this all came out, the firestorm that happened. I put out my Facebook post. A lot of people put out their posts on Twitter. Social media was a buzz, whether you're in Memphis or outside of Memphis, because the Grizzlies were the second best team in the Western Conference without a Kevin Durant, without Ja Morant in some instances, who missed several games, quite a few games during the season. And the Grizz still won 56 games, second in the West, went to the Western Conference semifinals. So one can imagine just the rumor of a guy like Kevin Durant being added to a team that formidable would make this team even more of a championship contender than they already are, considering that they don't give up any core pieces. But that's the thing. There was little to no way this deal was going to get done without giving up at least 1, maybe 2, of the Grizzlies' core pieces. And that, the Grizzlies were not going to allow that to happen. Now, personally, I commend the Grizzlies for doing so, because I'm going to tell you something. And I'm reiterating something that I've said over and over. If you followed the show and all of that stuff, you already know what I'm about to say. I'm not a star guy. I'm not that type of dude. I respect stars. Stars are great. But I'm not a guy that's willing to throw my team away to build for a superstar. That thought never really made a lot of sense to me. If I can sign him in free agency, fine. If I can get him without giving up too much, fine. But to say it's okay, and I heard some people say this, and I saw some of y'all put it out there. I'm cool. Y'all can take Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks, whoever they want. Long as you get Kevin Durant, it don't matter who you give up. No, yes, it does matter. Yes, it does, you fool. You can't do that. Look, how many times have we seen teams do this? Perfect example I always bring up is the New York Knicks and what they gave up to get Carmelo Anthony from, I believe it was the Denver Nuggets. That team was never the same. Just wasn't. They were good. They were a playoff team. Did a few things here and there, but they were never a serious contender. And they never got, in my opinion, anywhere close to where they wanted to get when they got Carmelo. Now, some can blame Carmelo and the way he plays, but that's who he is. Y'all already knew who he was when you got him. You can name other examples, but I'm never one for destroying your team and your future to get a superstar. You even think going back to LeBron, going to Miami, that wasn't a trade. That was him leaving. He was a free agent. He left with the Miami. They were able to build a budget to get a core group of guys around Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. Spent a lot of money to put them together, but they didn't have to get rid of any assets because they didn't have to trade anybody. So, again, I'm not one to think it's worth uprooting your team. Now, again, you know, even when I bring up the Knicks example, they were a playoff team without Melo. Didn't really get any better when you look at how far they went with them. But in equating that to the Grizzlies, it's probably not even a good example, and I'll say why. Because the Grizzlies were better. The Grizz won 56 games. And they weren't even fully healthy. As is. They went to the second round of the NBA playoffs, and really, the only real team I felt like that had a legit chance to, other than the Grizzlies stopping themselves, was Golden State. That was the team that beat the Grizzlies, and the same Golden State team that went on to win the title. A Golden State team that the Grizzlies played pretty well during the regular season as well. Take that for what it's worth. So, with the way this team is constructed and the success that they've already had, the budgeting superstar you have in Ja Morant, a star in the making in Jaren Jackson, a very good role player in Dillon Brooks, a top 5 shooting guard already in Desmond Bane. It's not a lot of great shooting guards in this league. Look at what Desmond Bane, the numbers he put up last year. He's already an elite three-point shooter. He improved dramatically from year 1 to year 2. He's only been in the league 2 years. He's already averaging 18 points a game in the high 40s in three-point percentage. Year 1, he couldn't dribble the ball to save his life. Year 2, he's crossing people over and driving the lane. He got that much better in a year. And with his work ethic, from everything I've heard, is one of the best on the team as far as work ethic and getting better and commitment to that. There's no telling how much better he's going to get. So to me, Durant is not worth that price, especially when you consider the fact he's getting older. He's had some injury problems over the last several years, and you never know what type of drama could come. Now, KD has been good about not being dramatic himself on the court. You know, teammates speak well of him and all this stuff. But the way stuff went in Brooklyn, think about this. For those of y'all upset that the Grizz aren't able to get Kevin Durant, think about it like this. Look at the mess that started when he said he wanted out. You got the whole Kyrie thing. That's a whole nother sideshow. But he said, okay, I want to be traded. I'm demanding a trade. Okay, cool. They start to look for other opportunities and things of that nature, right? And none of these teams are really willing to give up what the Nets want. And they want a lot. You got Boston. You know, they're talking to Boston about Jaylen Brown and guys like that. And Marcus Smart. Wanting both of them. You know what I'm saying? You talk about other teams that are trying to get at least 2 of their core stars for KD, along with a whole host of draft picks. Nobody's willing to pay that price because they know the situation with KD. But then KD says, okay, maybe I can speed the process up by saying, all right, if you want me, Brooklyn, fire the coach and fire the general manager. That's when Kevin Durant said to the Nets. Now think about this. I know it's a leverage play, but still, think about this. Kevin Durant was willing to say, fire the coach that I wanted you to hire, and Steve Nash. The whole reason Steve Nash is in Brooklyn is because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving wanted Steve Nash, but mainly Kevin Durant because Durant worked with Steve Nash in Golden State, developed a relationship. He's willing to throw him under the bus to get what he wants. That's problematic. Number two, Sean Marks, the general manager of the Nets, that did everything KD wanted. Everything that KD and Kyrie wanted. Got the players he wanted. Got DeAndre Jordan's sorry self over there to play center, and it failed miserably. You know what I mean? All because Kevin Durant wanted him there. And there's other guys and other examples as well. Sean Marks was the guy that was able to hire Steve Nash, who Kevin Durant wanted. Threw all them under the bus. Say, hey, man, get rid of them if you want me. And just to show how much Brooklyn loves Kevin Durant, you know what Brooklyn said? No. We're sticking by our coach and general manager. They made a public statement and said that. So they love Kevin Durant so much that they ain't going to do nothing he wants them to do. They're willing to stick by a coach and a general manager. Then they're willing to stick by KD. So I found that interesting as well. I don't want no part of that mess, man. You see this stuff all over the league with stars run the, and there's nothing wrong with a star running a team, getting what he wants and demanding certain things in a certain way because you have earned that right. But at the same time, you can't let that drama destroy the team. People say Brooklyn's going to be a favorite in the East. Look, they got a good team. And ironically, Sean Marks did a pretty good job of putting some guys around Kevin Durant, signing TJ Warren. They made some other moves that were pretty good as far as role players around Kyrie and KD that I think they theoretically on paper would be pretty good. Very good. But here's the thing. You got a star that already said he doesn't want to be there. You got Kyrie Irving hanging out in Los Angeles. He thought he would be a Laker weeks ago. It still ain't happened. Kyrie talking to people said, I'm coming to LA soon, y'all. I talked to my boy LeBron. We're going to make it happen. It still ain't happened. Training camp ain't that far away. Maybe over a little over a month, something like that. They're going to be a mess. I don't want none of that energy. I don't want none of that. The Grizz had one of the best locker rooms you'll ever find last year. Now, we know we lost a couple of guys in Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton. Hate losing those guys. But that's just part of the business. But they drafted well. I don't think they're done. I feel like they may still do something heading into the season. But either way it goes, you have a culture that you built. And I don't think it's worth throwing that away for a quick thrill of getting a superstar like Kevin Durant for a couple of years. A couple of cheap years. I don't think so. That's just me. Y'all give me your thoughts. We'll read some of these comments here. And Jet, I do see your thing on the Powell. It's crazy you said that, Jet. I'm going to put it up here. Jet says, if you have time before you're done, I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on the Lakers retiring Powell's jersey. I literally had that written down. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not because there were some other things I want to get to. But I literally had that written down. And I wasn't sure. So I'm going to try to get that in, Jet, definitely. Because I want some people's thoughts on that. And I may get to a clip I saw on that as well. What's up, Leon? Bob in the building as well. What's going on? Read this other comment here. Jet says, I wasn't big on Durant coming. KD doesn't take criticism well. Once Memphis fans check his hair, he going to cuss somebody out, and it's over from there. He'll be asking for a trade within a year. Hey, look. I mean, they've been checking his hairline. I mean, you can even see there, man. This is problematic. You know, even Dylan Brooks looking over his shoulder like, hey, bro, you know. And speaking of Dylan, that was one of the guys people were ready to trade KD for. Even though I get it, and I love Dylan. But that's just a whole other thing. But it's a good point, man. You don't need these guys that are soft. I think KD, as great as he is, it's proven time and time again that he is soft, that he is fragile, that he lets stupid things bother him. He's chill, but he's soft. It's a weird combination. And I think that's why you haven't seen him be as successful as one would think with a player of his caliber. You look at his time in OKC, he put up monster numbers. Got to the finals once and lost. He leaves to go to Golden State, a team that's one of the greatest of all time that they put together. They win 2 titles. He was the best player. But he was also on a team that was incredible. Stars all over the place. Goes to Brooklyn, says, I could do it by myself. Hadn't done jack. He's been hurt most of the time, but when he did play, he didn't meet the mark. So, I don't know. I'm not crying any tears over not getting Kevin Durant, but that's just me. Y'all give me your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to do so. Also, got the lines open as well, 901-213-6020. You're more than welcome to join me on today. So, let me get a couple comments. He said, that's it. And he said, speak. Yeah, I'm trying to speak. Man, I appreciate the support. And let me know your name. It says Facebook user. I'm not sure why it doesn't have your name on here. But then it also says not good enough to get the championship. So I agree. 100%. So y'all still want to give your thoughts on KD and how that ended up falling through. Give your thoughts. Now, again, the reason why it ended up falling through, I didn't bring this up. The next day comes out that the Brooklyn Nets and Kevin Durant reached an agreement for him to stay for this coming season and try to work it out. Good luck with that, Brooklyn. Good luck with 2 superstars that actively say they don't want to be there and they don't like the coach or the front office. Good luck with that, Brooklyn. Prayers up for y'all in Brooklyn. Now, let me get to something here. Y'all see that? Let me put it up a little bigger so y'all can see. I believe y'all can see it, but I want it to be front and center. Make it a little bigger for y'all. And I got a video on it as well. Look at this. So what you're looking at, some may wonder, what am I looking at, Josh? What am I looking at? Well, this was the Little League World Series was going on. And after a commercial break, ESPN is on ESPN. They came back and they showed this. So it was a little black boy on the team there. And they're putting cotton in his hair. They're putting cotton balls in his hair. So just off of that alone, you wonder why. What's the purpose? Why would somebody think this is a good idea to do? Now, when it aired on ESPN, right, they didn't make much of it, which I can only imagine. The people, when they were coming back from the commercial, the announcers like, okay, didn't really say much, but they were talking about something else that had nothing to do with it. See, Kevin Durant wants to come back on the screen. So even that shows the drama of Kevin Durant. I'm trying to talk about something else, and here he is popping up on the screen. But there it is. So I want to ask y'all a question. Is that as bad as it looks? Or could there be more to the story? And if there is more to the story, does it matter? Should they know that that's not appropriate? Well, I do have a news clip for y'all. And maybe this will explain some things, but I want to get your thoughts. How do y'all feel about that? And is there any circumstance in which said situation is appropriate? I don't know, man, because I saw it and I can't say I didn't feel some type of way. But I could be wrong. Hey, I've been wrong before. But let's go to the video. Let's go to the news clip and let's see if they can explain the situation. Here we go.
You're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Now, and before it even starts, and I heard this before, Local 5 News in Iowa. We are Iowa. That's the worst slogan I've ever heard for a news station. But anyway, we're going to start it again. Y'all check it out.
You're watching Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
A team from Davenport, Iowa is advancing in the Little League World Series, but it's not their latest win the internet is talking about. Local 5's Chanu Her explains what's got people riled up and what Little League officials are saying.
A Little League team from Davenport, Iowa is now the center of attention, not for the play, but for this incident. White teammates seen putting what appears to be cotton in a black teammate's hair. This happened Sunday during the Red Sox versus Orioles Little League Classic game televised on ESPN. This incident involving the Midwest team was televised. People online took notice, many calling this racist. "I am enraged," one person tweeted. Another person said, "This is absolutely disgusting and makes my blood boil. He worked so hard to get to the World Series, and he's humiliated and bullied on TV." Others, however, they're defending this online, saying, "We don't actually know the circumstances here." One person said they were all just having fun copying Francisco Lindor's mohawk, referring to the New York Mets' shortstop. Little League officials tell me in a statement they've spoken with the team and reviewed photos and claims multiple players on the team were doing this, but only one player appeared on broadcast. The officials added, quote, "We have spoken with the player's mother and the coaches who have assured us that it was no ill intent behind the action shown during the broadcast." Now, I also reached out to Iowa Little League District 2. The district administrator sent the same statement as the Little League officials.
Now, there's a little bit more here, but I must say, I'm going to go back to it a little bit. Now, and look at this statement, all right? Statement from Little League International. Very profound, right? They said, "We've spoken to the players, with the players' mother and coaches who have assured us there was no ill intent behind the action." So the coaches and the mother involved said there was no ill intent. Now, I don't know, would the coaches of the team say if there was ill intent? I don't know. And again, I'm not assuming there was, but I don't know if those are the right people to ask. Or maybe, I don't know who else you should ask, but it's interesting.
The broadcast. Now, I also reached out to Iowa Little League District 2. The district administrator sent the same statement as the Little League officials. Chanu Her, Local 5 News, we are Iowa.
We asked the Little League District Administrator in Davenport about speculation the kids were imitating Francisco Lindor's hair. He tells us he doesn't know if that was the intent. In a Facebook post from Davenport's Southeast team, they say there was no intent for racist behavior. All of the players, including Jeremiah, were trying to recreate a look of a player they look up to. They have since talked to the boys on why it was inappropriate.
All right, so there it is. Now, in case, some of y'all may just be tuning in to the show, what's up, GKP? I see you, man. And some more people that have just come in. Go ahead and hit that like button if you're here. If you're just coming in, hit that like button. And share the video. Share the video. So y'all got a gist of what's going on there. Now, my thing is, so many thoughts. They're putting cotton in the boy's hair. Now, you see the boy at the end of the clip here. He's getting up and he's flexing. And he's clearly not mad at what was done. So I can't sit up here and say they were bullying him, because clearly it looks like he didn't have a problem with it. And I really don't know if those kids know how bad that looks. Because think about it. He's surrounded by white boys. And he's the one black kid. I think he's the only black kid on the team. And he's sitting there and they're putting cotton on his head. And they're filming this for national TV. I don't know, man. Like, you can't tell me there were no adults around that thought, well, maybe this isn't a good look for all these white boys to be putting white cotton balls in the head of a black boy. Nobody thought that was a bad idea. Come on now. I find it hard to believe that nobody thought this was a bad idea, that nobody said, oh, I think this is not a good look. Were they just not thinking? Maybe that's possible. I don't know. It's one of those things, you don't want to falsely accuse anybody of racism. But you heard the news from ABC Iowa, We Are Iowa. You heard what they said. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit. Look at this again. Look at this.
Thank.
A Little League team from Davenport, Iowa is now the center of attention, not for the play, but for this incident. White teammates seen putting what appears to be cotton in a black teammate's hair. This happened Sunday during the Red Sox versus Orioles Little League Classic.
Can't say that ain't a little weird. I don't know. I'll put it this way. When I first saw this, I'm going to just tell you my thoughts when I first saw it. My first thought, I was kind of mad because I didn't know, if the kid was being bullied in the instance and this was caught on TV and nobody thought this was inappropriate or whatever. That's my first thought. I was pretty upset. I was pretty mad. And just like a lot of people were pretty mad, especially black folks like myself. You see something like this, it looks like blatant racism. But they say it was in the style of a player that they like, right? Francisco Lindor, right? That his hair is in a similar style. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Y'all give me your thoughts. Got a couple comments here. And if you have any thoughts, you're willing to call in, you can give me a call, 901-213-6020. I'll put you on there. What do you agree or disagree with me or the video or any of the people in the comments? Well, it's what Talk Back Live is, or Talk Sports Live in this case. Jed says, yeah, the same people who don't think George Zimmerman had any ill intent. Wow, that's something right there. Bob says, why was his action taken by kids? Adults' influence here. Another comment says, they know what's going on. Don't play. Hey, you're probably right. I don't know. Bob says the old song, Black Hands and White Cotton. Oh, man. I've heard that, actually. Jed says, Joey Sulapek didn't have any ill intent either, but you have to be punished. Not that I think he should have been fired, but it has to be a very strong message that is sent that this is unacceptable and a seriously bad thing, especially with kids, because based on what the league and parents statement, it's not a big deal. Yeah, Frankie here says, I didn't like it the first time I saw it, and I still don't like it. So, do you guys think this is blatant racism, or is this blatant negligence, or is this blatant ignorance? And when I say ignorance, that means not being informed of what you're doing. Or do you think they were informed? They were just doing what they wanted to do to this poor black young man. Now, again, to be fair, I went to the end of the video here. The boy doesn't seem upset by it. He seems like he wanted them to do it.
He tells us he doesn't know if that was the intent. In a Facebook post from Davenport's Southeast team, they say there was no intent for racist behavior. All of the players, including Jeremiah, were trying to recreate a look of a player they look up to.
So there it is. Is that suffice? Is that suffice enough for you all? Or is this just another example of racism in baseball, or racism in general that's going on? Jed says it's blatant racism. Racism, my bad. Even if the kids didn't know. And, I feel like I fall along those lines, Jed. I can't front. Because there are certain things that can't be allowed. It just is what it is. Whether you knew or not, you need to know. Because people can claim they do or don't know anything. Maybe it can't be proven unless you see a video of them knowingly saying that they know what's right and wrong. But let's say a white person says the N-word out there and in public, right? And they can blatantly say, hey, I didn't know it was wrong to say the N-word. You shouldn't punish me for not knowing this is wrong. Well, if you break the law and you don't know that that's against the law, do you still get arrested? Yeah. Yeah, you do, because you should know the law. So should this be the same thing when it comes to racism, or is that an unfair expectation? Again, I'm welcome to people agreeing or disagreeing. But one thing I won't accept, whether you're white or black, is to come on here and saying, you know, this ain't racist, because no, I don't. And no, you don't either, unless you're in the minds of those kids or those adults. I'm not saying I know that it is, but you can't get up here and say you know it's not. How do I know? How do you know? You look throughout the history of America, you cannot blame any black person at all for having their guard up, especially when you see something like this. You can't do it. And if you do, then honestly, you're being ignorant to the history of this country. Just to be real. Let's go to the phone lines.
Call from
Robert.
All right, we got the Robert Lee. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Hey, you know, I'm gonna get outside because you might have some old callers coming in.
Yeah, do you think?
On the cotton putting in the head, let's stop playing, y'all. We know what that is. Regardless of, you might have a player in the National Baseball League that has white hair, blonde hair, whatever. I'm sorry. That has nothing to do. We know what the cotton is. We know what these white players are doing. Mm-hmm. But we, as black folks, that's our problem today. We don't want to speak, especially when you got a single mother. A single black mother, she's going to protect her child. Oh, I'm not going to say nothing. I know what it is. She know what that is. She know what that means. Okay? You don't put white cotton in a child's hair and try to say, oh, we trying to mimic some other player's hair color. No, bruh, no. We know what that means. And it's time for that to stop. We need to stand up as a people and say, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. I'm sorry, we don't do that. Now, if you would have did that with shaving cream or something, okay, maybe I can say something about that. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna put cotton?
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're gonna put cotton. Yeah. We know what black folks were here in the United States, especially in the South, we were dealing with. We were dealing with cotton as slaves. That's what we were doing. It had nothing to do with our hair. It had nothing to do with our hair. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about the kids and what about the other kids and their mothers? No, white folks know what that means. And the black mother, I understand. Like I said, I try to give her a little, okay, sister, you trying to stay out of it. You don't want your name. You don't want your boy messed up. No, bruh. No, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But a lot of us black folks, we, especially in this time, because the mother has got to be in her 30s. Yeah, she got to be in her 20s or 30s. So we at least at some point in time, at least she should know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's been done over and over again throughout time, through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even up into the 2000s. When they put white cotton like that on a black person, they know what that means. And we need to stop as black people trying to do this old church mess. Oh Lord, let me chill out. Don't. No, it didn't mean. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that means. Okay. So, and if you go on to talk to the players, okay, they can play the role. Look, these white kids know what they're doing. Their parents knew what that was. The parents knew what it was. It ain't like the parents didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem with us as black folk. We act as if now today, if you 30, if you 30-something and maybe 40-something years old. We trying to, some of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, I don't understand. You understand. You just trying to stay within, you're trying not, just like I said, with black women, when it came to their children, that's what we go through slavery. That's what happened.
Yeah.
They taught their black children, they taught the black male, hey, don't do nothing, don't get, because he'll hang you and kill you. Black female, if the white man want to grab some titties and he want to fill on some behind and this, and let him do it. They was trying to protect the child because, again, the black male was gone. The black male was under control. So they still doing it today. Go ahead, brother.
No, that's a good point. And I'm just looking here. I was scrolling through my phone here, and because I wanted to bring up, because I know I shared it on the TalkSPORTS Live Facebook page, and there's a lot of people gave some thoughts, and there was one in particular I wanted to read. And what's going on? See Carlos coming in the comments. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit, and I want to read this one in particular. Because I know you probably gotta go, man. But I'm gonna read this one here. So
go ahead.
Lady named Karen, right? And this is a white lady, and she says, of course, anything gets misconstrued these days. She says, if you look at the video, there's a black boy that's contributing to putting the stuffing on the little boy's head as well. Says most boys at that age don't even realize the significance between cotton and slavery. It's grown-ups that make a big stinking deal out of it. Get a grip, you idiots, she says on my page. And there was a lot of other people that felt the same way. You even see posts of people saying the woke media is trying to paint a narrative. That type of stuff gets on my nerves so much, because whenever anything, that's blatantly, that looks, and based off of first impression or any impression, I don't care what impression, if you're watching it for the third time, you have a bad feeling if you're black, or if you're a white person that has any real sensitivity to the issue. You see that that's not right, man. That's not a good look. It's just not. And that there is in no way, in my opinion, should that be permissible. Do you think, is there any possible, I'm going to ask you this, even though it's clear what you're saying, any possible way that these kids could have been doing this and didn't know how bad this would look?
There may have been maybe 1 and 2 in the group, maybe, but most of these kids knew exactly what they was doing. See, what we have to understand is just like I'm speaking to my child about being black and what it is and what it has done to him in the United States, me, his mother, and even though he's in time now, we don't see it's, how can I say it? It's overt. It's undercover. We can put little things out there, and we know these black folks, most of these black folks today, they not worried about that. That's not on their minds. That if it is, that we have beaten them down so much, it don't matter. Just like I said with the mother. Oh, it's no big deal, baby. You know what that is. You don't put cotton in the boy's head.
Now,
you
curious,
don't do that.
Do you think?
I'm sorry.
Do you think because now this is a team that was evidently good enough to make the Little League World Series? Do you think he felt like she or the mother felt like, hey, I don't want my child to not be on the team anymore, so I'm just kind of go along with it and do some type of thing, kind of be complicit in that nature? Do you think that might have something to do with it?
Well, yeah. As far as the mother is concerned, I don't want to make a big issue. I'm trying to put in my mind. I know he wasn't the only black kid that was on it, but the majority of the kids were white.
Yeah.
We talking about hour. We know what time it is in hour.
Exactly.
Let's stop playing, y'all. We know what's up with South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Utah. We understand. We know that. So why don't we stop playing again? Now, if you want to kick me off the team because me as a father rose up and said something, well, okay, son, I'm sorry, but that's how I stand. Life goes on. You can be a professional baseball player if that's what you decide to do in your life. That's your business. But right now, No, we're not gonna let that pass because here's the next thing. Well, you're gonna find somebody else with some. What's the next thing? You're gonna find some regular player. You're gonna tear his uniform up. See how he wears uniform sloppy like so and so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know, you justifying anything to be in the right. You know what you were doing. You white folks know what y'all was doing. Y'all know y'all was what your kids were doing by putting cotton in the board. They could have put shaving cream. I still probably would have went off because of the white shaving cream. Mm-hmm. But at least, man, it's shaving cream. Yeah. I could look at the player in the national, he got blonde, white hair, whatever the case may be. But now you put cotton in his head.
Yeah, that's not.
Cotton, no, bro. Cotton doesn't. I'm sorry. We as black people, cotton means we wear the t-shirts, we wear the underwear, we wear all that. Yeah, it's cotton. But cotton is a bad thing for us. Yeah. It is a bad thing for us. It is. It is. I'm not saying that we got to stop wearing cotton or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But when you do a photo like this, why you got to put cotton? Why couldn't you use shaving cream? Then, why you got to put white? Go ahead.
And then you think about the hair texture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, like, are you know, because that was my first thought. Actually, are they trying to mimic nappy hair or something? Like, what's the deal? You know, so
it ain't like it's smooth. It ain't like cotton is smooth. We know what's up with cotton. Mm-hmm. We know what that is. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it, like I said again, we as black folks today. We have gotten to the place, the reason why we are treated the way we are treated in this world today is because we let certain things pass. We don't let certain things pass because people, again, every time we turn around, we can look at the federal government. Every time an Asian person got hit in the head, there go a law. Mm-hmm. You can't touch it. But we've been begging and pleading for the Emmett Till. We've been begging and pleading for the Floyd Act and this, that, and we got to keep going through changes. We got to have discussion. But as soon as somebody else get hurt, Asian or something like that, it's right into place.
Yeah.
We ain't got to argue about it. We ain't got to have no meetings. We ain't got to have nothing. What it is, this here is messed up. And that is something that young black boy needs to understand. Now, I don't know where it's from. It could be a single mother. Mm-hmm. Could be a single mother because I don't see a black father. What a black father at?
That's a good point. And I'm going to say one thing, too, to the comment that was put on by Karen. Ironically, her name's Karen. But, you know, she was saying that there was another black boy that was helping put it on there. Now, I was looking at the video, and that was the reason I got to pause where it is. That one boy that's in front, I thought he was black because of the arm, but you look, that's not a black boy at all. So, and I saw a team picture. He's the only black boy on the team. Literally. Yes. That's it. Like it's only him. So it's too ironic that he's the only one that did his hair. And I don't know, somebody else might have put their hair like this later.
Right.
But
and like you said, and not to cut you off, something so I can get off here. Yeah. Just like you said, with the other boy that was dark, he could have been from India. Mm-hmm. Why couldn't you put it on his head? Mm-hmm. Why? Because he dark skinned. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he may not be, but why you got to put it as a black person? Why does it have to be a black person? Why couldn't it just be somebody of dark skin? Why couldn't you pick that dude? Because the other dude didn't start on the team or something? No, it's just plain and simple. The problem with us as black people, we are too easy today. We trying to go by and pretend like, okay, they ain't doing no harm to us, they ain't doing nothing to us or anything like that. But every day they're doing harm to us. And we got to learn how to speak up about it. No, every other race does. Why can't we?
Exactly.
Why are we so afraid to speak up? Hey, all right, brother, let me get out of here.
All right, Robert, man, you laying it down, man. Appreciate the call, man.
All right.
It's Robert Lee. As Bob said in the comments, telling the truth with the hand clap emoji right there. So what do y'all think, man? Agree or disagree with Robert Lee had to say when it comes right there to this issue? And again, I am confirmed. I'm gonna see if I can find that picture and put it up where you all can see it. But there was a team photo, and he was the only black kid on the team. And it's already, in my opinion, doesn't help the perception of baseball.
Call from Bro Jet. To accept, press 1.
All right, we got Bro Jet in the building. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
What's going on? I'm gonna try to be quick too. I know Brother Robert said he was gonna be quick, and
you saw that win, right?
I'm gonna try to be a little bit quicker than him.
It's cool, man.
But yeah, it's definitely cool when he making the sense he's making, just making all valid points. I almost didn't have to call, but a lot of what he said is the reason why I could be quick, because he's saying it all. Now, all I wanted to add was that those children at the age they are may not know, right? But they inherently know. They know that's why they did it, but they may not know. This is the reflex of white America, right? They know, just like there's some things that's been left with us, some bitterness, the way we move, the way we talk, the way we act, the way we believe, the way we worship God, right? That's some things that have been left with us because of the American slavery experience that we came out of, right? All of this stuff is not all of it, but a lot of it is still with us, just the way we are now. And if it's left with us, then a lot of it is just left with them too, right? And that's what they refuse to acknowledge. That's what they refuse to acknowledge. And I would say those kids, while they don't know, they can't tell you the significance of it, the reason they did it is because it's in them and it comes from their homes. And I can tell by the parents and the league's explanation that they don't care enough. And that's why this can still happen. See, this is an indictment on America. When you look at Iowa, we know the demographics of Iowa, right? But Iowa is also, when these primary elections come up in November, you're going to start hearing a lot about Iowa, the Iowa caucus, the Iowa, you know what I'm saying? Because that's considered middle America. That's considered the fabric of America, you know. And America, America's always been code word for white people, white culture, and American apple pie.
Yeah, these the real workers.
So that, and that's, yeah. And so that's a serious indictment on America that all of these people can claim that they don't know, right? They may not know. But if you don't know where we come from, it never stops. You've been dealing with riots every year for something, right? Going all the way back since the end of slavery. There's been a riot every year for something, right? So if you don't know, you don't care to know, because you keep looking at a riot, you keep looking at a march or protest as people screaming about something rather than people having legitimate gripes.
Now,
right?
And I'm gonna throw this at you.
You're not taking the time to know.
I'm gonna throw this at you.
Taking the time to know.
I'm gonna throw this at you, Jet. Now, I put up the picture. I don't know if you'll be able to see it now, but is Francisco Lindor is the star player for the Mets, the New York Mets, right? And that was the hair they say they were imitating.
Now, is he white or black?
Black. Well, he's black. I'm not sure his nationality because of the name Francisco Lindor, but it's definitely, you look at him, you think black. I don't know if he's.
And he has white hair.
Yeah, it's like it's black underneath, but it's white, like colored, all up there.
Okay, so I can see the children doing that, right? I can see them doing that. And I can see them if that guy you're talking about, if his skin is dark, I can, because children pick out pictures and they deal with pictures and shapes and things like that, right? I can see the children doing that. But what I cannot see is everybody in the crowd and them parents not saying, whoa, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And stopping that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now their reactions to it are telling children, no matter how people feel, this is okay. So if I do say the N-word, rappers say it, comedians say it, So it's okay to say it, right?
That's
Then when
a
they get
great
punched
point.
in the mouth or something, all of a sudden these black people are angry about whatever, no reason. And these are not just children. These are not just children. Because these children are one day going to be the bosses. They're going to be the policy makers, right? They're going to be the ones who decide what happens to people because of their actions, right? They're going to be the ones who make rules and laws based on the way people behave, look, and they're going to bring all of this with them.
Yep.
They're going to bring all of this with them. And you got, these are the same people who demonize anyone for saying that they want to teach critical race theory in school. And then claim they didn't know when they do something like this.
I wonder why you didn't know.
Yeah, because you're not interested in learning.
Exactly.
At all. You're indifferent to people's feelings and you don't want to learn.
You know, it's funny. That's a
It's supposed to be your way, but that's a problem.
That's such a great point, because even going back to what Robert Lee was saying, it's not the fact of, okay, let's say you didn't know. Even when you bring up the awareness, they bristle at the fact, I don't need you telling me that either. Just
making
tell
everything
me
about race. They bring up all these defense mechanisms.
Yeah,
right?
Just tell me it's okay. You know, what I did was fine. Yeah.
And won't deal with the mere fact is you get to not know. You get to not know. You know what? We know everything. We know everything. We make fun of it too sometimes, but we know everything about white American culture, right? Because we have to know. Because you got to get the job. Even you work for yourself doing your talk show, you have to know, because you got to get your show on somebody's platform or somebody's internet, or sometimes you got to sell advertising to somebody. So you have to know how they move, walk. You have to know what they like and how they like things, right? But they get to just shut down. They don't have to know us.
That's where
right? They get to have that one black friend, which is him, who mom is saying this wasn't a problem.
Right? That's where
that's
we get
that's their black experience.
That's where we get code switching from.
Exactly. That's where we get code. It's a survival mechanism for us. We have to know, but they don't even see that as a problem, right? They don't see how we can have a problem because of living in that condition. But I'm gonna shut it off from that and just listen to you.
That's a great point, man.
Because I'm interested in the other topics too.
Yes, sir. Hey, yeah, I definitely want to get to those here shortly. But man, appreciate the call, Jet, as always, man.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. All right, that's Jet, man, with some good points. And man, there's so much we can talk about all day about that, man. But I did think it was interesting again to put up the actual baseball player that was in question, Francisco Lindor. And then again, there he is. Has his hair in that color. And that was the inspiration for this. And again, the fact that the main thing I have a problem with is the baseball committee saying, well, there's nothing wrong with the kids did because they didn't know. Hopefully there is some type of education in knowing that that's not something that should be done in the future, not made an excuse of, to where they think, oh, this is fine because they said it's fine. Gotta change these minds out here. Think about it. This is on ESPN. The way it was framed, and you can check on my Facebook, Talk Sports Live with Josh Midgett. Got the original clip from ESPN. The first thing you see when they come back from commercial is this. And the camera's right on them putting this cotton in this black boy's head. That's why the firestorm was so crazy. Because Twitter and Facebook and everything blew up with black folks like, whoa, if everybody in the world can see something's wrong with this, how are the adults that are around these kids don't think something's wrong with this? And if they really don't think something's wrong with this, then that's a problem too. So I'm just leave that at that, man. So I'm going to get to some other things here in a second. As a matter of fact, speaking on the advertising point, I want to take a commercial break. And when we come back, going to get to some more things here, including some Memphis Tigers news and including a topic that Jet brought up that I want to get to. I may do that first before the Tigers news because it's not groundbreaking, but it is very odd and interesting at the same time. So I'm going to try to get to all that before we get out of here. Let's go to break right now, and you're watching Talk Sports Live. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned. For the best soul food in the Mid-South, it's Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And some of the items on their menu consist of catfish, spaghetti, chicken and dressing, turkey wings, meatloaf, fried chicken, cabbage, yams, greens, salmon croquette, and the list goes on. Some of the best soul food you ever taste in the Mid-South, it is Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd. Call them again at 901-946-4303. Been in business since 1991. Shop and Save, 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303. Best soul food you'll ever taste.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Pedestrian safety is a two-way street. Both drivers and walkers need to do their part to keep roads safe. When you're walking, remember, the drivers may not always see you, so remember to use these tips to continue to walk safely. Wear bright clothes. Always use crosswalks and obey signs. Lights and reflectors should be used. And finally, keep alert and do not walk distracted. This message brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
I watch y'all coming here for years, cause you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day, and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Cause ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
All right, and welcome back to the show, Talk Sports Live with Joshua Midgett. I'm here in the building, man. Got some more stuff to talk about here on the show, and you can imagine this got something to do with the NBA. Hence the NBA music, man, and got some things to talk about when it comes to NBA and basketball. I know football season's right around the corner. I know we got college football in a couple weeks. I know we got pro football in a few weeks, got preseason going on, all of that stuff. Week 3, the final week of the preseason, is happening today and tomorrow and this weekend. Y'all tune in for that, even though most of these games are not going to matter because this is the last week of the preseason and a lot of the main guys are not going to be playing. So don't expect too much excitement as far as that goes, other than position battles, things of that nature. But the Memphis Tigers start their football season next Saturday. So y'all want to stay tuned for that. Mississippi State at Starksville. Stark Vegas, they call it down there at Mississippi State University. So definitely looking forward to talking about that next week, next Friday. We'll talk about that game and everything going on with the Tiger football program as well. Got some news about the Tiger basketball program here shortly. But first, because Jet brought it up and because I had it on my list of one of the things to talk about, but wasn't sure if I wanted to get to it or not. But I believe I am now. And that is Pau Gasol. That might surprise some of y'all, right? Pau Gasol. Where has Pau been? Old Pau Gasol, our old buddy, former Memphis Grizzly, former Los Angeles Laker, where I think despite what we may want to think in Memphis, that's what he's mostly going to be known for in his career, other than his time in Spain as part of the Spanish national team, things like that. He's going to be known for his time with the Grizzlies, but where he really got his fame was with the Lakers, being the sidekick to Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, helping Kobe win those 2 championships back to back, by the way. And the reason I bring up Pau Gasol is because it was announced not too long ago that Pau is going to get his number retired by the Lakers. And that's a huge honor. No question about it. Now, it sparked up some debate from different people, in basketball circles, whether Pau is deserving of having his number retired by the Lakers. Now, think about this. The Lakers, the most storied franchise in basketball, a very rich lineage from Magic Johnson to Kobe to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Shaquille O'Neal. Some of the best players to ever play have played with the Lakers and had a ton of success. But it looks like Pau is going to go in the lineage of those guys. And, some people wondered, hey, does Pau deserve that? And even got some more debate going on about Pau and his impact when he was a Grizzly. And who was better between Pau and Mark? Maybe we might get into that. I don't know. But how important was Pau Gasol to what the Lakers had going on back in those days? And if you remember, the Pau trade was one of the biggest storylines of that time, right? Pau got traded from the Grizzlies to the Lakers. The Grizzlies were really struggling. He wanted to succeed with Memphis, but didn't feel like the front office was doing enough in his estimation to get better. Because if you think about it, those were almost some forgotten years when the Grizzlies were making the playoffs 3 straight years. I remember they got swept every year. They got swept by Dallas. They got swept by Phoenix. And those teams that were really good. You got Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, Phoenix Suns. You got the Dallas Mavericks in their prime with Dirk Nowitzki, who was an absolute monster at the time. I'll never forget that one game. It was game 3, I believe, that the Grizzlies should have won at FedEx Forum and let Dallas come back in the last 5 minutes, I believe, of the fourth quarter and win with a late shot by Dirk at the top of the key. Remember that extremely well. And I think Pau was sick and tired of getting swept. And the late Michael Heisley was the owner of the team then. But I think people forget, with all that being said, Pau was the best player on those teams. It wasn't even close. It wasn't Stromile Swift. It wasn't Jason Williams. It wasn't Lorenzen. Another rest in peace, Lorenzen. So many guys that have passed in this equation I'm just thinking about. But it wasn't any of those guys. I love the James Posies of the world, Shane Battier in his first run with the Grizzlies. There were a lot of guys that I liked. You got Chucky Atkins. You had Bobby Jackson. These are names people hadn't thought about in a long time that were on those Grizz playoff teams. All that's fine and good. But without Pau, those teams don't even make the playoffs. Period. Pau was the man. Even though he got criticized a lot of people felt he was soft. But if you think about it and you look at the numbers that he put up during that time, even when I went back and looked, it was amazing that we were so critical because he was doing his thing. Now, of course, he's not a guy that's going to go, 35 and 15 on a consistent basis or nothing like that. But he had big numbers. He had some big games. He was consistently very, very good and at an all-star level for the Grizzlies. So then he got traded to the Lakers, and then everything took off for him. He immediately went to the finals, won a title. Next year, won another title. with Kobe. And that's where that relationship grew. So I bring that up to bring up that topic. But y'all give me your thoughts on Powell getting his number retired by the Lakers. Does that surprise you? Do you think he's worth it? Should the Grizzlies do something similar to honor his legacy with the Grizzlies back in the day? But let's look at somebody that had a pretty big impact, that Powell had a big impact on, and that was Kobe Bryant. He actually, I think this was 2018, he gave his thoughts on Pau Gasol. And here's ESPN playing that clip from a few days ago. Check this out. Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, on Pau Gasol.
We do know that the franchise will be retiring the number 16 when they honor Pau Gasol at Crypto.com Arena on March 7th against the Memphis Grizzlies later this season. The late, great Kobe Bryant knew this day was coming way back in 2018. Take a listen.
There's no debate. I mean, Pau, when he retires, he will have his number in the rafters next to mine. The reality is I don't win those championships without Pau. The city of LA doesn't have those 2 championships without Pau Gasol. We know that. Everybody knows that. And I really look forward to the day where he's there giving his speech at center court in front of all the fans who have supported him over the years. So it's going to be an awesome night.
And it's amazing to see that again. Kobe, I believe this was 2018 again, where he basically said he anticipated Pau getting his number retired and that it should be, without question, in his mind, that Pau should get his number retired in LA and that he deserved it, and that he said that he doesn't win those 2 titles and the city of Los Angeles doesn't have those 2 championships without Pau Gasol. I don't think you can get any bigger praise, especially from a guy like Kobe and the way he is and how serious he takes those things. So it's interesting to say that, but there was a debate that was sparked, and I saw some of them on my Facebook page. I believe Jet had started it, and a lot of folks kind of dove in on the discussion. But Pau Gasol, is he deserving of having his jersey retired by the Los Angeles Lakers? Should there be a similar honor put up by the Grizzlies? Let's go to the phone lines.
Call from Bro Jet. To accept, press 1.
And Jet, I figured Jet might have something to say on this one. I just had a clue.
Yeah, I mean, I normally would have typed on this one, but I'm doing something that requires me to be quicker, and I can do that fast by just calling.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and my take on that is, and I didn't hear the Kobe speech before either when I was having this debate. Mm-hmm. But still, it just seems like, okay, I get it. They honoring Kobe. It still doesn't seem like it's about Pau. It just doesn't. You're gonna retire his jersey because he's the greatest assistant in the Lakers history, I guess. I mean that's what it says.
That might be
a great assistant.
Yeah.
You know, and Kobe can say he doesn't get those championships without Pau, mm-hmm. and more than likely he wouldn't. But I think the more appropriate sentence would be, I don't get these championships without somebody like Pau. Mm. It could have been anybody. But Pau is not that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's never.
It could have been. Guy. I mean, I ain't gonna say it could have been anybody, but it could have been if Ben Wallace had been on that team instead of Pau, Kobe would have got. Even though he can't score, mm-hmm. but because of the other things he can do, the enforcer, the defender, Kobe's probably still would have got those championships because Kobe is a top 10 player in history.
Yeah,
it doesn't take a lot of a second guy to get a championship, especially in that league he was playing in.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get that.
And I only compare to if they were in Denver, then I'd be like, yeah. If they were in Memphis, I'd be like, yeah. If they were in, I don't know, even probably Boston.
Really?
I don't know, but when I look at the Lakers wall,
okay.
And I like Pau. I was a Pau fan. Mm-hmm. But when I look at the Lakers wall, Pau doesn't belong. He doesn't go. He's not that caliber to go on that wall.
Yeah.
To me, if you stick Pau on the wall, then I think now the bar has been lowered and some other people could get on that wall. I think you got to go back and add Byron Scott to the wall if you're going to put Powell on that wall, right? I mean, I do. I do. Byron Scott, Bob McAdoo. Those guys are not on the Lakers wall. The Lakers has a tight circle and stringent requirements, you know.
That's true. You know, and
I
that's
don't know.
funny.
As much as I like Powell, he doesn't go on that wall. He go on a lot of teams' wall, but not the Lakers.
You know, and it's funny to bring. So, do you think this is more emotional, meaning the Kobe effect because of Kobe's closeness with Powell? And
I think it's two things. It gives the Lakers an opportunity. It's honoring Kobe, his closeness with Powell, and then you got to have reason to do it, right? They just can't take Kobe's best friend and then put him on the wall, right? Right, but you got to have legitimate reason to do it. I think if it were not for Kobe, even if he had those championships, if Powell had joined the team and won those championships besides Shaq, Kobe. And Shaq was there too. Then even with Powell's same numbers, he wouldn't be retired.
That's true.
he just wouldn't be retired, you know.
And you know,
and so I think the second phase of it is Los Angeles is a heavy Hispanic town city.
Yeah.
And although Powell is European Hispanic, they probably not gonna get Mexican Hispanic, you know, a player of that caliber to retire. This is their chance to have a Spanish-speaking player on their wall in Los Angeles.
You know, that's very.
I think that has a little to do with it too.
And that's very interesting. I hadn't thought about that either. But one thing about it, and one thing I failed to mention, I know that I talked about how they immediately won. Well, they did lose that first title to Boston, if I remember correctly. Then the next years,
to Garnett. Ray Allen, them,
then the next 2 years they had the rematch the next year and beat them, and then they won another one the year after. But
and I happen to think even with Powell, but without, depending on who Powell is the same thing. Depending on who they replaced him with, even with Powell, but without Trevor Ariza, say somebody who defended the perimeter the way he did, they wouldn't have won. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Powell is the replaceable guy. Kobe was. You know, Kobe is top 10 all time. If Kobe had just been an all-star, but not the caliber who Kobe was, one of the greatest ever, they wouldn't win, even with Powell. They couldn't have won. Kobe had to be that great for Powell to work.
That's true. And one thing I'll say, too, the system. You know, fit Powell very well with the triangle and his passing ability and all of that stuff. It just kind of accentuated.
Yeah, it worked for him in the spot and all that. But just Powell, just bare knuckles Powell, he doesn't belong on the Lakers wall. Grizzlies, Phoenix, Denver, man, almost any team in the league, but not the Lakers wall. You place his pitch on the wall beside those guys, he just doesn't belong. He just doesn't belong.
You know, it's funny, and I do wonder how many people agree with that, you know, because, look, even Lakers fans at the time were kind of critical and called Powell kind of soft back in the day, you know, because of the way he played and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to put this out there a little bit before I get to some other things. Powell versus Mark. It's always been a thing. I saw, you know, people like, hey, you know, Mark doesn't come close to Powell at the end of the day. What do you think about that?
I think Mark was way better than Powell. Much better than Powell.
Okay.
Yeah, I think much better. Now, admittedly, when they made the trade, I thought, because Jerry West was still with us then.
Yeah.
I thought Jerry West was dipping Memphis and trying to give his buddies a gift. That's what I thought, but immediately before that next season was over, I was like, we won this trade.
Yeah.
Because I was one of the people, even though I liked Powell, I always thought we needed an enforcer to play with Powell. We needed, because he was a weak big man.
Yeah.
And he was only good for offense. That was it. And he wasn't a 30-point offender.
No.
You know, offensive player. He wasn't that. So he was never going to be good enough for us to go to a championship with him. Mark was much better. You could have put Mark on that Laker team, and Kobe would have been saying one for Mark. Because he was the same. He was a little better passer, played a little smarter, and he was a little stronger. I like Mark better. I was surprised because I saw Mark in high school and just thought, ooh, when I think Cal recruited him, he was going to go to Memphis at one point. And I told everybody, I was like, man, Cal, that dude he's going to be ruined if he go play for Cal. Because what Cal does is big men like Kareem Cooper and like that, if one of his stars mess up, boy, he'll wear that big slow, goofy, sorry guy out. Yeah. I mean, he's tough on them guys, man. And I was like, but he went on and went pro, and it worked out for him. I was surprised. I didn't see that from Mark in high school, but I was surprised. I think and I said maybe I sound like he was way, way better than Powell. He was a lot better than Powell. But
I'm really surprised that you say that. I really am now, because I think they were pretty close. Now Powell was on the pro level. Powell was more consistently. Now I don't know. Do you consider that because of the situations? Because that all takes into account too.
While you're saying this, I'm thinking it probably was because had Powell had Zach Randolph in fourth hour somebody needed, right? He may have been enough. You know what I'm saying? So because Mark did have the benefit of playing with some tough guys who could cover his butt. If he's
because
soft,
I'm gonna tell you something else. Not to interrupt you, but I'll tell you something else. Mark had a lot of those same. They were very similar in a lot of ways. Mark got that criticism when Zebo wasn't around. It was a lot of that, man. You ain't taking shots. You saw, they had a lot of the same weaknesses. Like even with Powell,
it showed up big time when Zebo left, and I think Powell played one. I mean, Mark played 1 year without Zebo, didn't it? Before he went to Toronto or somewhere.
Yes, and he put up.
And
but there was still that criticism of you only do it when you want to.
I even saw it then. Yeah, he needed his tough guys with him to be more effective. But Powell's the same way. And he doesn't. I just don't think I like Mark better still. Mark was a big guy, and I like his floor vision and passing. He was a little better. He was a little better at that than Powell. But I just don't think Powell just belongs on the Lakers. And I'm saying this as a Laker fan. I was a Laker fan all my life. The first team I watched was the Lakers when I first started watching basketball.
Wow.
It was the Lakers' first championship when they played against the 76ers.
Wow.
First time I heard Magic Johnson, Dr. J, and all those guys, Kareem. And that was my favorite team until they took Shaq from Orlando, from Penny. Because, I was just waiting on them to get good again doing that, But they took Shaq from Penny. That kind of made me salty. I was hoping they would get Penny even because the only reason I liked Orlando because Penny was there, right? Yeah. So I was hoping they would get Penny because Jerry West had always liked Penny. So I thought that was going to happen. They were going to end up with Penny. But then they got Kobe, and Kobe imitated Jordan a lot.
Yep.
And then Phil Jackson, and then Dennis Rodman, and then Horace Grant. And I just felt like they were Chicago West, and I never liked Jordan, and I never liked Chicago. And then we had the Grizzlies, and I just was never a Laker fan again, Wow. So, but the people on the Lakers wall came from my era when I loved the Lakers, and the people that's not there came from that era.
That makes sense
and
because
Powell doesn't belong on that wall with them.
See, you feel Powell is infringing on your youth, by sticking him in the middle of Magic and Kareem and those boys, and there's Powell.
I mean, listen at the names you called, though. He doesn't belong on that wall. He does not belong. Magic, Worthy, Kareem,
Powell,
Nixon. He doesn't belong on Jerry West.
Jerry West,
yeah. He does not belong on that wall, man. He does not belong on that wall. No.
Man, I feel.
I mean, they only got 10 jerseys.
10, yeah.
Retired, and 2 of them are Kobe's, right? It's 11,
yep.
But 10 because 2 of them belong to Kobe. So, yeah, Powell just doesn't go. He doesn't go. Yeah.
I feel you, man. Look, well,
So basically, you said Powell is absolute trash. I understand what you're saying, man. You know,
No, I'm not. In fact, I was thinking when you first started off, when people used to complain about Powell, the first person that came to mind was Jeff Weinberg.
Yeah,
plastic points. Those are plastic points. R.I.P. Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff and
that's
Luke.
The first person that came to mind though when you started talking about that.
Whenever I think of Jeff, man, I remember talking about looping the ends for the Volunteers.
Loop the ends, yeah, that's about football. You got to loop the ends. just say statements.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right,
but yeah, let me hang up and listen though, and go and make these children some ice cream.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, brother. Appreciate
All right,
it,
bye. All right.
All right, it's Jet, man, with some good stuff. Commentary on Pau Gasol, and if anybody got any comments on that, you'll feel free to continue to contribute, man. I do think it's interesting conversation to have, and I may bring it up again on a later time to get into that some more. But last thing I want to get into here is some news when it comes to the Tigers. And if you didn't hear, which I don't know where you've been, basically, because the past 2 weeks I had Leon on, Leon Taylor from Tiger Sports Report, talking to us about this particular thing. And this week, Alex Lomax himself confirmed it by putting this statement out to Tiger Nation. And there it is right there. And it literally says Tiger Nation in the thing there. And he says, and I quote, "The past 4 years have been the best of my life. Representing our city, wearing Memphis across my chest and playing in front of you all at FedEx Forum has meant the world to me. There's no greater pride I feel than walking onto the court and doing what I love to do. See you on the court. I am." So there it is. Alex Lomax with his statement about him returning to the Tigers, even though when I read that, it says nothing about him returning. But he did talk about it to the news that he's coming back, and he put it out on Twitter and all that stuff. So Alex Lomax returning for his 6th season with the Tigers. Well, his 5th or 6th? No, 5th season. Now, he ain't going that far, but his 5th season with the Tigers, 5th year senior. He had 1 more year of eligibility because of the pandemic and everything. They gave those people an extra year of eligibility, so he's going to be back on the court for Penny and the Tigers. And it's real interesting because when you look at the situation that they're in, the Tigers have a couple of point guards with Kendrick Davis and now Alex Lomax. And another thing we talked with Leon last week was the fact that, hey, of course, you know, Lomax is not going to take time from Kendrick Davis. I mean, you're talking about Kendrick Davis is a top 5, well, top 10. Some people think top 10 player in the nation. Coming in to the University of Memphis, Kendrick Davis from SMU transferred to Memphis, the big-time point guard that the Tigers faced a lot last year. He averaged over 20 a game against the Tigers while playing for SMU in the same conference. Penny was able to get him to transfer to Memphis, a guy that's considered one of the best players in the country, in the conversation for the best point guard in the country, scoring machine, can shoot it, very good assist-to-turnover ratio as well. And then you add the experience of Alex Lomax at the same position. It's one of those things where you haven't had a lot over the past few years when it comes to the Tigers. You haven't had a lot of flexibility where the guy coming off the bench at point guard wasn't going to bring down the team so much. Now, again, Lomax is not on Davis's level at all, but he's very solid. As we saw down the stretch last year, as much as we complained about Alex Lomax, and a lot of that was warranted, at the end of the day, he was the best point guard we had. You saw his leadership at the right time. You saw his decision-making come out at the right time. Sometimes he would hit a clutch shot, make a clutch rebound, did a lot of things that showed how much he is valuable to a team. So despite the fact that he can't shoot any better than me, and I can't shoot the ball, but as far as shooting from three. But everything else, leadership ability, effort on defense, effort, period, on both ends of the floor, I think it's nothing but a plus to have him coming back. So, again, been talked about this for the last 2 weeks, and even going back a little further, Leon put out that Lomax is more than likely leaning toward coming back. He made it official this past week with this statement that you see here right next to me. So that, again, is another addition, I guess you could say, to the Tiger basketball program. So we'll see going forward what's going to happen with that. Now, let's talk about somebody else. Jamar Young. Y'all may not know who that is if you haven't been following the team too close, but let me go through with this whole situation because it's been kind of confusing, I must admit. So Jamar Young is another guy from SMU. He played with Kendrick Davis at SMU, ironically, 6'9", 6'10", big man, very athletic, stuff like that. So he announced that he's transferring to Memphis. He put out the graphic with him in a Memphis jersey, all that stuff. So Tigers fans like, okay, this is cool. Now, a reason why I say this isn't that big of a deal, because it's not like he averaged a bunch of points or rebounds. Didn't play a ton at SMU. Didn't do a lot, but he is there for depth and size. Never hurts to have a big man, 6'10", that can dunk, and that's big. So that's never going to hurt you. But, so that happens. And then it comes out that, never mind, he's not coming to Memphis. Okay? So he tweets out, and I'm reading the tweet here, on August the 19th. Due to personal reasons, I will not be attending the University of Memphis this year. Like, okay, all right. Come to find out via Jason Munns of the Commercial Appeal, who covers the Tigers and all those things. The reason why all this happened, I'm going through my different notes. These are on my cellular device. So let me pull this up to get the exact, accurate documentation of what went down here. So here it is. They talked about there are some things that need to be worked on compliance-wise, and he indeed will be transferring to Memphis. And let me pull up the full thing here. He's a 6'9", big man from SMU, said he was transferring only to find out that he wasn't eligible to do so. So the personal reasons that were there was that he wasn't eligible. He didn't have enough credits to attend the University of Memphis. So that's what paused it. It's not like he just changed his mind. He couldn't get it together grade-wise and credits-wise. Now, again, from Jason Munns, he says he won't be eligible until after the fall semester. So they're targeting December the 17th as the start of his eligibility. He says the only requirement is that he passes 17 credits in the fall. So they're still working to confirm everything with that report. So as of right now, that seems to be the latest with Jamar Young. But either way it goes, it's a bit odd, to say the least, that all this is kind of going on here. And one thing about, and I say this all the time, one thing about Tiger basketball, it's never boring. There's always something going on. There's always something weird, something somewhat controversial. No matter who the coach is, some people say Penny brought that stuff. And there's always some type of drama going on, whether going back to Tubby Smith, Josh Pashner, whoever the coach is, John Calipari. It's going to be something weird, something controversial, something confusing going on with Tiger basketball, or interesting, I'll put it that way. Then you got the rumors that have been confirmed that Penny Hardaway is recruiting LeBron James' son, LeBron Jr., to potentially come to the University of Memphis next season. So a lot of stuff going on Tigers-wise in the basketball scene. So we'll see how a lot of this stuff shakes out. But again, Jamar Young has decided to recommit to Memphis, and they seem like they're going to try to get the credit situation with his grades worked out, but that seems to be the only thing going on. Now, Jet says, man, I thought you were about to say Acott was coming back. No, man, no, he's not. Acott is going to Western Kentucky. And from what I heard about that, and let me look at that because I got some messages about Acott as well. Rick Stansberry is the coach at Western Kentucky. And just making sure that was true. Yeah. So Emmanuel Acott, if some of y'all don't know about that, Emmanuel Acott was the transfer from Boise State that had transferred to Memphis. This was a little while ago. He was a guy that was one of their leading scorers on Boise State's team. And another guy that played against the Tigers last year. If you remember, the Tigers' first game in the NCAA tournament last year was against who? Boise State. And Acott was one of the best players on Boise State's team, one of the guys that played well against the Tigers in the NCAA tournament game. Had decided to transfer to Memphis. This is a guy that's 6'7", wing player, could shoot the three, stretch the floor, do a lot of different things. So he was going to be pretty critical for next year's team. But he changed his mind, decided to enroll in Western Kentucky. You have to wonder why. Well, Rick Stansberry is the head coach there. Very good recruiter, and very good at getting people what they want. So I'm just kind of leave that there. So you can take that for what you want. Let's see. Yeah, Jet says, and in the NIT Final Four before that, that's true. There, they played them there as well. I forgot about that, Jet. Good point. So, and another comment here says, what about LeBron James' son, Bronny? Yeah, well, just talked about that. So it seems like the Tigers are in contention with him. But again, there's still a lot of time for that to develop. And one thing, again, Leon brought up last week was that, one, Bronny is improving a lot, and two, Penny's son, Ashton Hardaway, is a teammate of Bronny at his high school, Sierra Canyon. So we'll see how that develops with the recruiting situation. So, but that's going to do it for me today. I just wanted to get those news and notes out there with the Memphis Tigers and what's happening with them. But I'm going to get on out of here, man. It's almost 2 hours in. I appreciate everybody for coming in and giving your comments and your questions and getting involved with me here on the show. Had a lot of stuff to break down, so we appreciate each and every one of you. Also, be on the lookout. We were at Shop and Save, me and Bob, on today, and you saw Bob post about it, some new pictures and stuff. I'm going to be putting out and kind of a new vlog type of deal where we kind of documented some stuff at Shop and Save, talked to some people there, took some pictures. So we're going to be putting together a video to put out hopefully by tomorrow afternoon. That video will be out hopefully sooner than that, but that's the goal for me right now. So stay tuned for that. But that's going to do it for me, man, here on Talk Sports Live. I'm your host, Joshua Midgett. I will see y'all again next week. Same time, same place. But until then, y'all have a great Friday evening. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for our Saturday Night Live edition.
For the best soul food in the Mid-South, it's Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And some of the items on their menu consist of catfish, spaghetti, chicken and dressing, turkey wings, meatloaf, fried chicken, cabbage, yams, greens, salmon croquette, and the list goes on. Some of the best soul food you ever taste in the Mid-South, it is Shop and Save. 1499 South 3rd. Call them again at 901-946-4303. Been in business since 1991. Shop and save. 1499 South 3rd, 901-946-4303 for some of the best soul food you'll ever taste.
I watch y'all coming here for years because you shot somebody. Now your life is shot. You gonna pick that phone up one day and that girl gonna be done dumped you and raise your child with another man. Or maybe your mama or your grandmama dies. Cause ain't nothing you can do about it. You got 15 to 20 years, state or fed time. Real talk. Don't lose your head, use your head, man. Gun crime, max time.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.